Good evening and welcome to Sunset News. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economic news, weather, sports, and so much more. I am Glenora Shipura. Getting into the news tonight, the first phase of Rundu's prepaid water meter rollout has already connected over 1,000 households, with installations currently ongoing in the Tutengeni area, according to the Rundu Town Council CEO, Francisca Kupembona. The project officially commenced on the 7th of February and has so far seen $6.9 million invested in its implementation. This morning, the installation team reached the home of former Education Deputy Minister Faustina Kalei, who became the latest recipient of the prepaid system in Tutengeni. Moving on to our next story, the city of Windhoek has approved 1,941 building plans worth $2.22 billion over the 12 months ending March 2025, marking a 4.6 year-on-year increase in the number of plans and a 2.3% rise in value, according to the latest data. Now, this follows the approval of 196 building plans in March 2025 alone, valued at $358.9 million. This represents a 38% month-on-month increase in the number of approvals and a substantial 168.2% month-on-month surge in value compared to the same month last year. Approvals rose by 6.5% year-on-year, while the value increased by 22%. Analysts at IJG Securities stated that despite the strong monthly performance, year-to-date figures indicate that both additions to properties and residential categories are underperforming in value terms when compared to the same period last year. IJG, however, noted that building completions remained subdued during March, with only 23 plans finalized at a total value of $22.4 million. This reflects a 23.3% year-on-year decline in the number of completions and a significant 59.7% year-on-year drop in value, IJG said. IJG noted that the municipality approved its first commercial and industrial building units for the year in March, amounting to a combined value of $161.2 million, significantly up from $4 million recorded in March 2024. Getting into our next story, Haschem Namibia, a chemical remediation company based in Walvis Bay and Swakopmund, has confirmed a major cyanide spill believed to be the first of its kind in the country. The tragic head-on collision between two trucks early about 10 kilometers north of Oshiwarongo, currently classified as a chemical disaster, has prompted urgent containment efforts, especially with looming rain threatening to worsen the spread. A 50-meter exclusion zone has been established around the affected site due to the extreme danger posed by the chemical. Haschem is leading the response with support from South African experts, and efforts are underway to trace the owner of the product, believed to be based in the U.S. This is very serious. Please assist us, said Jenny Kutsie, a spokesperson of Haschem. In our next story, a man who identified as John from Evululuko informal settlement in Oshakati escaped from death when a car he was driving in caught fire and burned to ashes. The man reportedly passed through the window and escaped unharmed, although he lost some of his possessions in the fire. Oshakati Fire Extinguisher team arrived late at the scene. They managed to put the fire out of the car. The car had completely burned down. And that brings us to the end of our top stories. On the other side of this, we'll be taking a look at our community talk. Getting into our community talk, grandmother Kerthu Ihemba from Rundu Safari location is pleading for help to care for her two children, for her 2-year-old triplet granddaughters, all named after Namibia's former first ladies and battling a heart condition. According to Ihemba, the toddlers may require specialist treatment in South Africa. Unemployed and struggling, she hopes to raise funds through her late husband's timber farm in Shambuya settlement. I heard there are people who buy trees for timber. We have a lot of trees on our farm. So if there are any businesses that are interested, they can contact me. Maybe this will help me raise money to cover their treatment, as we were told there is a possibility they could have to go to specialists in South Africa. She said. Asteria Nangombe, who's 34, and Lahaja Shilo Mwelwe, who's also 34, visited Lydia Mbundu, who's 30, the mother of the triplets, at her home in Rundu Safari location. After coming across a social media post on the Namibian Sun platform, the two offered an undisclosed donation in support of the toddlers, who are scheduled for their next medical follow-up in Windhoek on the 23rd of April. Moving over to our second community talk story, a group of women at Oinkango village in Oshana region are busy making marula juice under a tree. Namibian Sun recently caught up with the women. This year, the Omangongo Festival will be hosted in Okwanyama Traditional Authority in Ohangwena region on the 10th of May. The annual Omangongo Festival is celebrated on a rotational basis among the 8 northern traditional authorities. The festival brings people from diverse cultures together to socialize and enjoy the brew while promoting culture. Our in-house journalist Uyemo Haidula was there and captured this.
So tuline pon lungaradio. Tulino situation lungaradio. Tulino stua. Atu pakpa mangang kwa tukol lungaradio. Andia. Nah, saya di sini tuh turang gimana? Di sini?
On the other side of the break, we'll be taking a look at our story of the day. Getting into our story of the day, Oshana Police Regional Commander Commissioner Naphtal Lungameni Sakaria earlier today launched the Operation New Era to mitigate crime threats during the Easter break. Sakaria said the criminals should know there is no space for them in the region over this period. Tuyemo Haidula reports.
Beginning of the long weekend, the Easter weekend. So we are going to launch, we are launching as we stand. If you see these guys, they are ready. We are launching the Operation New Era. So the objectives of this operation is simply to mitigate crime threats, disrupt criminal syndicates, and to prevent road crashes. Now, as you know already, it has been a strategy of the region. We deal with issues related to crime prevention. We speak to following them on the ground. The Inspector General of the Namibian Police Force, Lieutenant Joseph Shimwelaus Congo, would say, boots on the ground. And that is exactly what we are going to do this weekend. So criminals better be warned, because there will not be space for criminal activities in this region. We are going to be everywhere. We are going to make sure that the traffic units, where's the traffic coordinator? Shilongo, the traffic are deployed to make sure that there is no room for drink and driving. because this we know already by now that this is the main cause of accidents. The past 2 weekends, we have got about 50, just 2 weekends.
We'll go for a quick ad break before we return with your entertainment news. Getting into our entertainment news, Duhafeni Bezano, the president of the Ngoshi Bikers Club, speaks at the official launch of Miss Ngoshi 2025 at the Temperature Lounge and Restaurant. The prestigious pageant celebrating beauty, talent, and community empowerment will take place on the 7th of June in Windhoek. Wilma Ita reports. Have a look.
Amongst the previously disadvantaged people. In a nutshell, what do? We ride bikes and we live life to the fullest. We give charity, or we committed to charity. We give where it is necessary to do so, and it's just a wonderful family to belong to. So what we do is 70% is admin, like what you see now, and 30% is riding. So we've been to Angola, we've been to South Africa, we've been to Zambia, we've been to Botswana on bikes. So go to any other country in Southern Africa and you say, I'm a biker from Namibia. The first question they'll ask you is, do you know Ngoshi Bikers Club? So that is how well established we are, and this is our 7th year. In a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to welcome you as well, although that was not my assignment. Enjoy yourself. I miss my camera. Where is that with my camera? Thank you.
In our economic news segment, the cabinet develops a plan to remove the red line. We expand on this on the other side of the break. Getting into our economic news, Minister of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries and Land Reform, Meg Albert Hengari, has announced that the cabinet has developed a strategy for the removal of the veterinary cordon fence, commonly known as a red line, which he will soon present in Parliament. We will also come to this house because Cabinet has a strategy in mind in terms of removing the red line, Hengari told lawmakers this week. Now, the red line, which separates northern communal areas from commercial farming zones in central and southern Namibia, has long been a contentious issue, with critics arguing that it stifles economic growth and perpetuates inequality in the livestock sector. Hengari's statement comes shortly after the National Assembly approved a report by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Economics and Public Administration recommending the removal of the red line. In a further development, the minister revealed that his ministry had been directed to reevaluate Namibia's resettlement program, which has faced ongoing criticism for inefficiencies and a lack of equitable land redistribution. Cabinet has decided that my ministry needs to develop an ancestral land policy that will inform our resettlement program, Hengari said. Now, according to government data, $2.4 billion has been spent between 1990 and 2023 on acquiring 3.4 million hectares of land, equivalent to 571 farms, under the Land Reform Program. A total of 5,458 beneficiaries have been resettled over the same period. We'll now take a look at our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 24.92, against the euro at 21.43, against the US dollar at 18.80, and $2 Namibian and 58 cents gets you one Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, gold, copper, and platinum went down, while Brent crude oil went up, trading at 1.22%, going for $67.02 per barrel. On the other side of the break, we'll be taking a look at our international news. Getting into our international news, Nigeria and South Africa have signed an accord to boost cooperation in mining, Nigeria's mines minister said on Thursday, highlighting Abuja's push to diversify its economy away from oil. Mines Minister Dele Alake said the two countries will partner on mining, including geological mapping using drones, share mineral data, and jointly explore agro and energy minerals in Nigeria. Besides oil, Nigeria is also rich in gold, limestone, lithium, iron ore, and zinc. Nigeria has around 23 mineral deposits in commercial quantities. Nigeria is seeking to revamp a mining sector that has long been underdeveloped, contributing less than 1% to its gross domestic product. South Africa's established mining expertise make it a key partner in this effort, Alake said. That concludes the international news. Let's take a look at the weather predictions for tomorrow. The capital city can expect showers with a minimum of 16 and a maximum of 26 degrees Celsius, while Oshakati can enjoy sunny weather with a minimum of 20 and a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius. Katima Mulilo can also expect some showers with a minimum of 17 and a maximum of 28 degrees Celsius, while Rundu can also enjoy some rain with a minimum of 16 and a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius. Arians Flay can expect a minimum of 18 and a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius, also with sunny weather conditions, while Rehoboth can also enjoy sunny weather conditions with a minimum of 17 and a maximum of 29 degrees Celsius. Handys Bay can expect a minimum of 15 and a maximum of 21 degrees Celsius. Aranas can expect showers with a minimum of 18 and a maximum of 29 degrees Celsius. We now take a look at the world of sports, swinging over to the sports desk, courtesy of Sports Rep.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news first. It's football news, the best of Europe. It's the Champions League second leg, quarterfinals. It was played, and a massive result for Arsenal. It is Arsenal that beat Real Madrid, the defending champions. They beat them in Madrid by 2-1 at the Bernabeu Stadium, and that is for a massive aggregate of 5-1. So the defending champion out of the tournament, Arsenal, through to the semi-finals, and they will play on the 29th of April. They will play first leg at home, that is against Paris Saint-Germain, the other team, one of the four teams that's through to the semi-finals. So the other semi-final, that's also been confirmed, that is Barcelona. They will be at home against Inter Milan. That will be the first leg of the semi-finals, and Barcelona is there. That is because they beat Bayern Munich. They beat them by 4-3 on aggregate. The game ended 2-2. That was at Inter Milan, but that was good enough for Inter Milan to go through to the semi-finals of the Champions League on the 29th of April. English Premier League, there was one game played before the weekend's action. That was Newcastle. That had a very big win against Crystal Palace. They beat them by 5-0 at home, and they now into the top four. Very important to qualify for the Champions League, and it is third position at the moment where Newcastle is. That is on 59 points. They're just 2 points ahead of Nottingham Forest on 57, and Manchester City lurking in fifth position on 55. So that is English Premier League that continue this coming weekend. Then on to tennis news. It's a Barcelona Open being played at the moment. It is round of 32 games that's being played, and it is a good result for number 2 seed Casper Ruud. He safely through, beating Hector Medvedev. He beat him by 7-5, 7-5, 2 tough sets. And then it was a number 3 seed Stefanos Tsitsipas, too strong for Sebastian Korda of the USA. That one was also in 2 sets, 7-6 and 6-4. And then number 6 seed Holger Rune. He beat Sebastian Bias. He beat him in a tough 3-setter, also through to the round of 16. So the semi-finals and finals will be played over this coming weekend. On to rugby news next, and that is related to a rugby player that plays for the All Blacks. That is Rico Ioane, and he plays centre and wing for the All Blacks, and he confirmed that he will play for the Irish club Leinster, and that is for a 6-month period. He's got a sabbatical from his club, the Blues, his franchise, the Blues in Auckland, so he will play for Leinster. They have to make them even stronger, the Irish club, currently leading the United Rugby Championship. More rugby news is women's rugby. It is the Women's Six Nations that will have round 4 this coming weekend. News from England is that they've got a player that's making a debut. That is centre Jade Shekels, and that will be a first start for England. So what's happening on Saturday, Italy host France and England will host Scotland, and then the game on Sunday will be Wales at home against Ireland. That is Women's Six Nations round 4. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day. We talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
That was Ari Hohart with the sports news. And on that note, we have come to the end of the broadcast. Thank you for tuning in all week and catching up with your latest news with Sunset News. From me, Glenora Shipura, have a beautiful Easter weekend. See you next week, Monday. Same time, same place.